Okay, so here we are, still at the hotel, basically providing you a bit faster than the hotel of airlines. So airlines are most likely is going to be your mode of transportation to a very long distance locations. When you're booking a flight, I think it's usually easier than a hotel because a hotel there's massive amounts of different hotels. In terms of that compared to airlines, there's actually only a few airlines compared to hotels. So main ones are like United, Delta. You have regional ones like Southwest, Alaska, and then there's a few different ones like more economy ones like Spirit, Frontier. They merged. So you're not looking at a big, large amount of different airlines that you can really choose from. So in my when I first said about hotels, one of the last things I said about hotels was joining loyalty. The first thing you should do is join loyalty for flights. Also, one big thing, I wouldn't use a third party for a flight. Now, the reason of that is because I've had many bad experiences with Expedia. Let's say you want to book a flight to Anchorage using either Alaska or Delta. My first start of doing that kind of trip would be to book a flight, or not book a flight, but just research that flight on Google Flights. Yes, I know Google Flights actually is legitimately great at determining your price point. You can search different times, like different dates. If you're flexible, if you want to fly on a Sunday instead of a Monday, sometimes that price difference is actually quite different. Your prices are not going to be as ever changing like hotels. It tends to be prices are usually on the same price range depending on the time, depending on the number of people that are going to be on that flight, as well as depending on the type of airline. If you're flying on Delta or Alaska, the prices are almost exactly the same. It's going to cost around $200 to fly up to Alaska in economy or in a basic economy. You're going first class, it's going to be roughly around $400 to $500 first class at the cheapest. If you somehow can get a flight via Spirit or Frontier, they can be cheaper, but they also nickel and dime you towards anything. So you're looking to put a carry-on on there, you can't have a carry-on on Spirit without paying 30 bucks. $30 for a carry-on? What? You got luggage on top of that? That's like $100. You're paying like $100 and maybe $20, $130 for a Spirit Airlines flight, and then it's going to be $100 on top. You might as well book a Delta flight for $200 and be able to choose your seat, be able to have a carry-on. The luggage is still 30 bucks. The only people who should take Spirit, I think, are people who are going to a location and then flying out of that location immediately. You're not going to be staying there for that long. So all you people who book it for family vacations, don't ever book Spirit or Frontier. Don't ever do that to you and your family. Though I do have to say airlines have cracked down quite a bit. There's been a lot of like airline violence, I think. And I think that was just a bunch of people like just getting back into travel. They shouldn't do that. It's very cool being on an aircraft, especially if you sit in first class. You actually get people that are mostly business people or people who they understand how to fly. You don't get crap people. Though I do have to say economy, not too bad either. And then after you use Google Flights, you can then book the airline directly. Google Flights doesn't have a way to book it. They just show you the rates that it is, but they just redirect you over back to the airline. So like Delta, they will just refer you back to Delta Airlines to make the reservation. So you might as well have that loyalty. You can get airline miles, you can get status, depending on how many times you fly, and also depends on how much you pay with that. Always plan for your travel to have maybe an issue one at a time in airlines. Sometimes your flight could get delayed. Sometimes your flight could come in too early. It really depends on where it's coming from, as well as if it goes through a connecting flight before it gets to you. So make sure that you update and check your updates. If you have any of the apps, you can always do that. So like get the Delta app, United app, the Alaska app, any of the apps. The type of airline has those things. They're always part of their loyalty. It's a way to check in online. You can do that. You can pick and update and modify your changes and everything like that via the app. And it's a great way. Also, when you check in via the app, you don't have to check in at one of those kiosks when you get to the airport. So it actually kind of saves you some time. Get TSA pre-check or clear if you're here based in America. TSA pre-check's actually not anything really better. Like in terms of the queue time, it's about, depends on where you're at, depends on, of course, how many people are going through TSA. But TSA pre, the best thing about TSA pre to me is that you don't have to take off your shoes. Most times, I'd say 75% of the time, you don't have to take off your belt or jewelry. And you don't have to take out your laptop or electronics. That's good for me because I bring a lot of camera equipment with me to trips. So removing those items kind of sucks for TSA. Lastly, going through airlines and stuff, you can always take a look at credit cards. We'll go through credit cards next week, but a dabble of that is going into lounges, going into getting specific priority to specific things, and getting upgrades and things like that too. But those are some of the things that come through with airlines. It's a way to pre-plan yourself out. Airlines shouldn't be the thing that dictates you though, so that shouldn't be the issue. Rental cars, super easy. You've got your dates for your airline, just do it plus like less than half an hour, and then you can pick a rental car. When you pick a rental car, there are two ways to do rental cars. You can do it through a third party, such as Expedia/Booking.com again. They're actually not bad on that sense, because the way you get cars anyways is when you make a reservation, you pick the car. The company itself doesn't matter either. You can get budget as a really cheap one, dollar, thrifty. Then you got a little bit more of those more standard, more refined locations like Enterprise and Alamo. Hertz has been having some issues a little bit, but they're okay, as well as National. Those are the American ones. There are some local chain ones for that rental cars. You get them sometimes at airports, sometimes you don't have to get it at an airport, sometimes you can just go to somewhere, some random location that will have cars available for you. The ones that are at an airport do have a surcharge though, because they're at an airport for convenience. Also, you could directly book it through the car rental site, so there are a couple of ways to do it. There's some free loyalty programs that you can always sign up for. I actually, last time, I just went to Phoenix. I was recommended by a coworker to sign up for something called Budget Fast Break. Budget Fast Break has a little promotion, little loyalty program that is connected with Amazon Prime, which you can sign up for free, and you can get discounted rates up to maybe 15% discount. Sometimes you get a cashback card or a cashback gift card, I guess, to Amazon if you book it that way. And it gives you a bit of, you get to bypass the line, which actually is pretty nice. That line sucks at rental cars. Sometimes it can be backed up for almost an hour for you to wait at the counter. A fast break just goes straight to the kiosk, get your car. Sometimes they'll have the car just waiting for you right there and then. But you just show your ID, get your credit card, boom. One last note, insurance, it depends on who you are. If you don't care about the car, don't get insurance. If you are like me and you have a credit card that covers your insurance for rental cars, use that. Don't get the insurance for the one that they offer you. It's too expensive and you don't have any value for it. But if it does happen, if your car has any issues, yeah, they'll cover it. They'll help you out. If you book a third-party insurance, which I have seen people do, it depends on the price of that third party. They actually are not too bad. The only issue is that you will have to pay out of pocket for the issue before your third-party insurance will come back and reimburse you. So just make sure that that is clearly stated on your third-party insurance. Other than that, that's really it about cars. If you have to pick a car, pick a nice car. Don't get a minivan. Don't get a truck. Don't get a Jeep. You look dumb with that, unless you really like trucks. If you like to drive a car and be cheap, go for a car. Even though it may say economy car may not be the cheapest. A mystery car is actually the cheapest. Mystery cars tend to be like the basic economy of cars. You get whatever you get. So in Phoenix, I just got a black Kia Fiesta, I think. So it's a car. It was cheap though. I tend to like to book SUVs because SUVs can get you into more outdoorsy stuff. Like if you want to go out in the mountains and stuff, SUVs are a little bit built better. Or if you want to drive out further than the city. Just know that parking in the city kind of sucks a lot of times. So make sure that you're budgeting for your rental car. So that was hotels, airlines, as well as car rentals. Next week, we will be doing budgeting. So we're going to be talking about credit cards. We're going to be talking about budgets. We might talk about a little bit more about loyalty and a few other things. So stay tuned for that. We appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more of this. I hope to see you then. Have a good one.